Well, Jim, one of the pieces of legislation that's currently in Congress is H.R. 1207, and that's the Sunshine Law, basically to conduct an audit of the Fed. Now, the Fed controls our money supply, but there's nobody out there that controls the Fed. All right. When we have an institution that controls what our government does with its money, but it's not open to the public, that we can't see the records, we lose every ability to say that it needs to take a different direction. So the first thing is we need to support some legislation that's just like H.R. 1207. 1207 is an important piece of legislation. It's got a lot of opposition though. But the fact is it's just where we need to start. And that is the start. The big coming problem is that our bonds, they're not being well received on the markets anymore. And as other countries pull out and they stop buying our debt, the American dollar is going to drop. When the American dollar drops, we're going to see a lot of inflation. If we don't get our problems in control, if we don't control our debt, if we don't stop spending money, none of that's going to matter. But what we do need to do is we need to start getting behind the representatives who are supporting H.R. 1207. I like to tell everybody that when you get up there, you're only one of 435. But the reality is those other 434, they vote on everything that bothers and is going to affect you. It isn't just a matter of contacting Mr. Kagan. It's a matter of contacting every congressman you can. Because you got 434 other people that are voting on that legislation. And they should welcome at least hearing from an American. When it comes right down to it, as much as it might hurt, we need to restrict the money supply. We can't just keep printing money. We need to go in, we need to audit the Federal Reserve. I would like to be optimistic and say a lot of that money showed up because people pulled it from under their mattresses, but I don't think that was the case. People are hurting. It's real easy right now to keep printing money, but we got to get a constraint on this, and we got to control what we're doing.
The health of the dollar is one of the many barometers of the health of our economy. It's the world's currency, and it is viewed as a safe haven. Unfortunately, it's becoming less and less of a safe haven because of what our current administration is creating with the perilous debt load that it's taking on and its inflationary practices of printing money for current purposes that we don't have. If there was an answer to this, many administrations would have solved it already. It's a systemic-wide problem of the health of the economy. And the health of the economy is based on the confidence that consumers have in creating economic activity, in investing in the future, and in spending money that they know will be replaced with higher economic activity in the future. The problem we have here in this room and across the country is we're having less confidence in that short-term future. I have a tremendous amount of confidence in the long-term future. This event tonight is one piece of that we are energized, and we get it, and the majority of the American people get it. But until the current administration is changed and the fiscal balance that needs to occur at the federal level is taken as the highest priority of the federal government's budgeting process, not who gets the money, how much they get. Balancing it is the priority. Then the dollar will stabilize because people will have confidence in it and confidence in our country. Until that happens, we are going to see wild fluctuations over the next couple of years until we get a new administration and a new Congress.
I may be a little more radical than my up here, I could tolerate just ending that Fed. I just have a real problem with an organization that can, with the click of a mouse, print trillions of dollars. Now, I don't know how many in this room are living on a fixed income or retirement income, or they're relying on interest to make their living. Every single time the Fed clicks that mouse and begins to print billions or trillions of dollars, the value of the dollars that you have in your savings account get reduced. The Fed, the government, is taking the money from you by devaluing your dollar. 1914, if you had a single dollar bill in 1914, when the U.S. Federal Reserve was put in place, you had $1 worth of spending power with that paper dollar. If you had a silver dollar, you had $1 worth of spending power with that silver dollar. Today, to make this thing equivalent, that paper dollar is worth 4 cents. That silver dollar, if it was in good condition, is worth about 32. And the reality is, we have a problem when the government, through the Federal Reserve, can simply devalue what you have worked for and saved over your entire lifetime. And so I think that first initial step is providing to the U.S. House of Representatives the ability to audit the Federal Reserve. And you spoke about it a moment ago. They can work on their own. You try to figure out how much money they actually borrowed, or how much bond dollars the Chinese actually own. It's very difficult to get, because they can loan money out and they can borrow money from anybody however they want to do it, because there is no oversight. And so you need to get involved now, and we need to have authority to audit the Federal Reserve. And until we get that power, you're not going to stop this. But it has to come to an end. And there, like I mentioned earlier, there is a tsunami coming. There's a cataclysmic failure coming. We can get out of it. Our economy is large enough and the machine is big enough to get out of it, but the government has to get out of the way. It has to get out of the way. And the first and critical step is the ability to audit the Fed. We have to know what they're doing.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Now we want to get back to the reason you folks are here, and give you guys the opportunity to ask the questions on the issues that are important to you. So what we ask is that if you're on this side of the room and you want to ask a question, you can just make your way to the aisle, and Mel will start over here and take a couple of questions from this side of the room. And if you folks want to ask a question, if you can just line up in the aisle on this side, and we'll start out over here.
They got me on a short leash here, so.
Me too. Hi. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for talking with us and sharing with us what your values, beliefs, and it's refreshing to hear somebody's talking about things that are important to all of us. I have a big question. This bothers me. I understand political campaigns are very costly. The money's got to come from somewhere. It sure as heck isn't going to come from people like me in quantities necessarily that you need. I really need to know. I've looked at your things on the website and to look where your funding is coming from. And some of you, your funding is coming pretty much from out of the area. To me, that is a huge red flag, only because that's what we're living under right now. And I'm very uncomfortable with that. So I'm wondering if each of you could talk about where you hope your primary source of campaign financing and funding is going to come from. And if it's not coming from locally, then who will you be representing?
Okay, I got the mic. Yeah, financing campaigns is one of the most limiting factors for those who are not independently wealthy, who have regular jobs, like I do, both factors there. But if you believe strongly enough, as I do, that our country is in peril and it's time for you to put up or shut up, then you jump in and you hope good folks across the district are going to help you out. I'm not going to play the Washington game of PAC money. I think it's part of the problem of the process of getting elected. PAC money is the part of the corrupting influence that gets folks in trouble in Washington when millions of dollars are funneled to campaigns from interest groups that aren't giving it to you because they like you, but because they want something from you when you get there. I will be raising all of my money from individuals. All of my money will come from folks who are directly involved in the message of this campaign. That's a hard road to hoe. If you look at most folks' websites across the country, running for Congress, PAC money is a large portion of their fundraising. And it starts you off the bat in the wrong direction. I will only accept money from individuals. I have taken money across the district, and I will continue to reach out to those who want to help this campaign get going and get the message